Imagine standing at the edge of a vast canyon, looking down at the rocky abyss below. The wind howls around you, whispering all the doubts you've ever had about yourself. Every time you've said, "I can't," every moment you've thought, "I'm not good enough," they all come rushing back, forming an invisible barrier between where you are and where you want to be. But then, somewhere in the distance, you hear a voice, calm, steady, and full of conviction. It tells you that everything, absolutely everything, in your life is determined by one thing: your attitude. And in that moment, you realize something powerful. The canyon isn't real. The gap isn't physical. It's all in your mind. The only thing standing between you and the life you dream of is the way you choose to think. What if I told you that the way you see the world is the single most important factor in whether you succeed or fail? What if I said that your beliefs, your words, and your daily mindset shape your reality more than any external circumstance ever could? Have you ever wondered why some people, even after facing unimaginable challenges, rise higher and higher, while others remain stuck, convinced that life has been unfair to them? If you've ever felt like you're trapped by your circumstances, if you've ever wished for a breakthrough but weren't sure where to start, then this is for you. Because today, we're diving deep into Attitude is Everything by Jeff Keller, a book that holds the key to unlocking your full potential. Not by changing the world around you, but by changing the way you see it. At its core, this book isn't just about being positive for the sake of it. It's about understanding that your thoughts, your words, and your actions are all interconnected. They form the foundation of your life. Every great success story begins in the mind. Think about someone like Thomas Edison, who failed over 1,000 times before finally inventing the light bulb. Or Oprah Winfrey, who faced rejection and hardship before becoming one of the most influential women in the world. What made the difference? It wasn't luck. It wasn't just hard work. It was the way they thought. They refused to see failure as the end. They saw it as feedback. They didn't let obstacles define them. They let obstacles refine them. The first shift Jeff Keller talks about is the power of your thoughts. If your mind is filled with negativity, self-doubt, fear, blame, then that's the energy you bring into everything you do. Picture two people applying for the same job. One of them walks in thinking, "I probably won't get this. There are better candidates. I always mess up interviews." The other walks in believing, "I have something valuable to offer. I'm confident. If this job is meant for me, I'll get it." Now, which of these two people do you think will perform better? It's obvious, isn't it? The second person walks in with an air of confidence, with a mindset that attracts success. The first, they've already lost before they even started. Not because they aren't good enough, but because they don't believe they are. But here's where it gets even deeper. Your thoughts don't just affect you internally. They shape the way you speak, and your words have immense power. Have you ever been around someone who constantly complains? Who always talks about what's wrong, what's missing, what they hate about their life? Now, think about someone who speaks with energy, who focuses on solutions, who believes things will work out. Who would you rather spend time with? More importantly, who do you think attracts better opportunities? The words you use, about yourself, about your work, about your future, set the course for your life. Saying, "I'll never be successful," is like programming a GPS to take you nowhere. But saying, "I'm constantly learning, I'm growing, I'm getting better every day," sets you on a path forward. And then comes the final piece, action. Positive thinking without action is just wishful dreaming. It's like standing in front of a locked door and hoping it will magically open. If you want to change your life, you need to act as if success is inevitable. Imagine someone who wants to be a writer. They have all the passion, all the ideas, but they never sit down to actually write. They wait for the perfect moment. They tell themselves they'll start someday. But then there's another person. Someone who wakes up early, who writes every day, who puts their work out into the world even when they don't feel ready. Who do you think will become a successful writer? It's obvious. Action creates momentum. Even small steps, taken consistently, can lead to massive change. Now, here's where things get really personal. Think about your own life. Where have your thoughts been holding you back? Where have your words been reinforcing negativity? And most importantly, where have you been waiting instead of taking action? Maybe you've been stuck in a job you hate, convinced that there's no way out. Maybe you've been wanting to start something, a business, a creative pursuit, a new chapter. But you keep telling yourself you're not ready. But what if you stopped seeing those limitations as real? What if you started acting like success was already on its way? How would your life change if you decided, right now, to think differently, speak differently, and act differently? This isn't just theory. This is how real transformation happens. You have the power to rewrite your own story, to change the trajectory of your life simply by shifting your attitude. It won't always be easy. There will be days when doubts creep in, when the old patterns try to pull you back. But in those moments, remember this. The greatest breakthroughs happen when you refuse to give in to negativity, when you choose to see possibility instead of limitation, when you take one more step, even when it feels like nothing is changing. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a challenge. For the next 24 hours, pay attention to your thoughts. Catch yourself when negativity sneaks in. Choose better words. Take one small action towards something you've been putting off. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be something. Because when you start seeing life through a different lens, everything begins to shift. Your attitude isn't just something, it's everything. And the moment you truly embrace that, the moment you stop waiting for external change and start creating change from within, that's when your life will start to transform in ways you never imagined. Now, the question is, are you ready? If you like this summary, consider subscribing to our channel. Your support gives us the motivation to keep creating more engaging content.